and welcome to a very special episode of Sorry Continue. It is special for a number of reasons, the first of which is that I am alone today, because I saw a film that my buddy Michael Reed has not yet seen, and I'm sure he will see it, I'm sure he'll love it, I'm sure it'll be one of his favorites, but I can't wait. I have to talk about it, so I'm going to talk alone, and I'm going to ramble on for a bit, and I'm gonna gush because I love this freaking film. The film is Swiss Army Man. And the second reason why this is a special episode is because I think it's my favorite film ever made. I really, really do. And for anyone who knows me, you know that I had a preconceived idea about this being the best film ever made before I even saw it. Because I guess ever since I saw the trailer, the first trailer, I have been tweeting about this, Facebooking about this, anywhere you can talk to me or hear my opinions, I've been talking about this one. Um, this is a film directed by Daniels, Daniel Shiner and Daniel Kwan, who just go by the name Daniels. It stars Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano. That's so stupid to say. That's so many Dans in one movie. It is how it is a road trip comedy drama adventure musical action film with that takes. Let me find the IMDb plot synopsis because I don't think I have the words for this. It is here we go. A hopeless man stranded on a deserted island befriends a dead body, and together they go on a surreal journey to get home. Yeah, it's one of those ones. I saw this trailer back in like I don't even know when it came out. It was a long time ago, but I turned on the trailer on my phone. Someone tweeted it, and I saw it, and I thought the title was cute and the picture looked funny, so I turned it on, and on my phone I saw the A24 logo, and I was like, oh shit, because I love A24. They're a production company who just make all the best films in the world. So I turned it off my phone. I quickly ran downstairs. I put it on my TV. I dimmed the lights, and I watched that trailer, and like I can never explain the feeling I got watching that trailer. And I never felt it again until I sat in the theater on September 30th and watched Swiss Army Man for the first time. September 30th was a while ago, and I tried to record an episode of this the night of, but I think I lost my ability to speak after watching that. Um, yeah, I I like sat in a theater with like 10 people. It was like an underperforming opening night. By the end, there was only like four people, six of them left, which is actually how this film first got my attention because at Sundance, the film festival, I believe a lot of people left because the film is it is an exploration of many things, but set under the idea that Daniel Radcliffe helps Paul Dano get off this deserted island because he can do extraordinary things with his body, and one of them is that he can ride like a jet ski across the ocean powered by his farts. Yeah, someone had to say that in like a fucking meeting to get this film made, so I'm allowed to say it on a podcast. So people left, I think, just because of that right off the bat, but like that's not what the film's about. Like anyone who left because of that, I don't know, didn't give it a chance, I guess, because at the core of this film, it is the most beautiful like exploration of like society and like why can't we just do whatever the fuck we want? Like why do we have to like okay, the main idea presented in the film is that Daniel Radcliffe's talking to Paul Dano's character and he's like, when I get home I can't wait to show everyone my farts, and Paul Dano's like, no, you can't do that, and he's like, what, why are we even going home? It sounds like you're not allowed to do anything fun there. And that's the kind of idea. Like, you can't do anything because it's not normal, it's weird. And there's a great scene in the film where they talk about weird and, like, what that means and why it exists and why it sucks. And by the end of the film, I don't know, I just felt like, I was like, I don't have to, like, fucking pretend. Like, I don't have to pretend like I do all this shit that everyone else does. I can stop that. That's not important. That's not what makes me happy. Because Daniel Radcliffe's character in the film essentially is a baby, and like Paul, he asks all these questions to Paul Dano that Paul Dano, and because he has no like filter, he asks him about anything. He asks him about farting. He asks him about masturbation, about sex, and it's so funny watching Paul Dano try to like talk about this because you don't talk about it in real life. Like you don't, nobody does it, and it's so hilarious watching him try to explain it. And by the end, you're like, oh, holy shit! Like, why don't I just like? Why is there like such an invisible barrier here? Like, why do we like do that to ourselves? Like, that's fucking depressing. And I don't know. When I stepped out of that theater, it was just kind of gone. Like my barrier. I went to see it again with my buddies, and our conversation before the film and our conversations after the film were so interesting. Like how it had changed. It was just kind of like we didn't say anything. We didn't say anything about it, but it just I think it was very clear to everyone that there was just less of a restriction on what we were going to talk about. So yeah, I've seen it 4 times in cinemas, and I want to get it on Blu-ray, but I'm out of money. I saw it the first time by myself, the second time with my 2 buddies, and then the third time by myself again, and then the fourth time with my parents, who actually really liked it. I thought they were gonna be kind of lukewarm on it or hate it, but my mom fucking loved it. I've never heard her talk the way she did after getting out of that film. My dad really appreciated it, but he did say it was a little weird for me, and I was like, okay, that's fair. Like you're so old and fucking. Well, I shouldn't say that about my pop. I love him, but okay, I have some things really quickly to rattle off, and then I want to do a bit of a spoiler section, but I'll get to that in a minute. First of all, the score. The soundtrack to this film, I think, is top 5 ever, for sure. I won't explain it because it's so much more fun to just go into the theater and figure it out. But I knew it before I saw it, which like didn't impede my experience at all. I still fucking loved it because I could like sing along to the music from the back row by myself. But the soundtrack is absolutely incredible, and it's just like such a good summation of everything this film stands for. Like it's so fucking quirky and weird and brilliant. And it just like it just goes to show what you can do when you like just take away the limits and just see what you can do. Another thing is Daniel Radcliffe gives the performance of his career like by far and away. Like I'm in awe of him, what he did in that film. Like there's a couple of things that I read. I'm not 100% sure if they're true, but I would believe it in a heartbeat that like they made a dummy obviously for like Daniel Radcliffe because he gets carried around by Paul Dano all the time, but like anytime he could, he would not use the dummy and he would just do it himself. Like for example, there's loads of scenes where like Paul Dano will be carrying Daniel Radcliffe on his back and you can't even see his face, like, but apparently he would always want to be there, and if he couldn't do it for like safety reasons, he would always be the one to like throw the dummy. Like if they had to like fucking throw it off a cliff or whatever, that doesn't happen, but he would always want to be the one to throw it, I guess, to get the movement right or something. But his performance is just outstanding. Like he gave one of those performances where I watched it and I was like, I don't understand how acting works. I was like, I don't understand how you could read those words and then like say them that way, and like how do you know that? Like where does that come from? I don't know. It's just so inspiring. And Paul Dano, I love Paul Dano in everything, but I don't know. This is the first time I've seen him play like a normal human being, kind of. Like rather than like Prisoners or There Will Be Blood. He's just like he's like your everyday schmuck, and he's so fucking good though. He's hilarious, and I think he's brilliant. And the two of them pretty much carried the movie. And never for a second did I think that they weren't able to do it. Like they fucking owned it. The directing and the editing, which is both done by Daniels, like they come from a music video background and you can totally feel it, but like in the best way. For example, the film starts the second it starts, if you know what I mean. Like from the second like the lights are dimmed and like the logos come up, the film is started and the plot is like introduced immediately. There's no fucking around at all in this film. And I just think that's brilliant. I love that. That doesn't really come from the editing, but I think that comes from their music video background of like having to establish their idea very quickly. Yeah, like the soundtrack, the directing, the editing, and the performances were the things that really stood out to me. Like obviously the script was like pitch perfect, but still it was the other stuff like carried that so much along that I it's not even worth mentioning. But like the script is obviously fantastic. Everything about this film is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, please get it on Blu-ray or something. Get your friends over. It's such a fun time. Like watching that with my friends in the cinema was one of the best days of my life. Like we had such a fucking blast that day. And it'll like, I don't know, if you're not feeling good, watch this film. It might fucking shake you up a bit and make you realize that maybe you're focusing on the wrong shit. That's all I have to say without spoiling it. I'm gonna I'm going to get into spoiler territory now, but I'm guilty of this. Sometimes when podcasts or reviews say that, I listen on, but please don't, because I'm not going to say anything that you'll understand. It'll only ruin your experience when you actually check this out. I'm only going to talk for like 5 more minutes or something about this. I just have some really quick things to say. Anyway, if you haven't seen the film, turn this off. I love you. Thank you for listening. And go watch this film. Let me know what you think. I want to talk about it. I haven't talked about it with anyone. And peace. See you later. All right. Now that they're gone. Okay, there's a few things I want to talk about that really surprised me. First of all, the Shane Carruth cameo. What was up with that? That was awesome. I love Shane Carruth. Shane Carruth's like one of my favorite directors, maybe my favorite. I don't know. I heard him before I saw him, and I was like, whoa, Shane. And then I saw him, and I was like, what is this film? I was like, this film is the best film ever made. But it was not just the fact that he was in it. It is something he says. Shane Carruth has this line where it's like, it's something like the cop is like, you think you just found the body, and he's like, bruising on the abdomen seemed to have happened post-mortem. He was probably a bridge jumper. I didn't notice that until the 4th time watching this film, and I'm with my parents. I watched it and I heard it because the audio was actually really bad. Not really bad, but like not up to par in the cinema I watched it in. So some of the lines were kind of lost on me, and that was one of them. And when I saw it with my parents, I saw it in a different cinema, and that line was like clear as day to me, and my heart just sank. And the idea of Daniel Radcliffe's character being a bridge jumper, like he committed suicide, and then was kind of like reborn, and he looked at the world in a different way, and he loved it. Like, isn't that so, I don't know, haunting or something? I just remember like the visceral reaction I had to hearing that in the cinema, and I was like, oh god. So I've just been thinking about that scene all the time, and that scene is incredible. Everything after the line, it's like, don't tell Sarah how much I loved her. When it's like a one shot where the camera is just like moving around that ambulance, and it's like going to different people, and like the audio is not always in the same place that the camera's in. Like sometimes you're watching the news broadcast, but you're hearing Sarah and the cop, or like you're looking at the dad, but actually you're hearing something else. Oh my god, it was so good. It was like proper like Spielberg shit. Like I was so in awe watching that. Like as a filmmaker, I was just like, holy shit, like you can do anything. But then like as a viewer, I was like, this is the climax, like all these stories coming together. I thought that was brilliant. And then those like 3 tracks that I think they're called Don't Tell Sarah, Run Down the Mountain, and then Finale, like music wise, it's really cool because I only noticed it a few days ago that like as soon as those come into the soundtrack, those are the last 3 tracks, the actual like instruments come back in. So like if you've seen the film, obviously you know that the music is all a cappella, but when those tracks start playing, like back when they're in society, like the piano and like strings come back in, and it's so effective. I remember in the theater, like just the effect it had on me, but I didn't know why, and I think that was probably something to do with it. It's shit like that just gets me. And the ending had me fucking weeping, like ugly crying, tears streaming down my face, and then the cut to black, like as soon as it said the end, I was just like you could hear me like panting over like that deafening silence. That was so cool. Another thing I really appreciated, and this might sound stupid, is that I haven't seen a film in a long time that had like opening titles, like Swiss Army Man, and it said the actors' names, and I haven't had a film that said the end. That was something I haven't seen in a while, and it was really cool. The beginning also had me crying, like first 5 minutes. As soon as Paul Dano was like blah da dum, that bit with the music cue, that made me cry. Because that was the point where I realized I was like shit. I was like, I've been looking at films wrong. I was like, that's how you, like, you can do anything. Like they can do that, and I can do what I do, and anyone else can do what they do, but nobody is right. Like the people who walked out of the film at Sundance, fuck them. Like that's stupid, because I don't know how you could walk out after that. That's like the best opening to a film of all time. I don't know, off the top of my head, I have nothing else that needs saying. Only that I hope Montage wins Best Song at the Oscars, but I don't even know if that's possible, because it is the best song ever written. Also, one more thing. This might be the last line of the podcast. Swiss Army Man uses the Jurassic Park theme song better than Jurassic Park uses it.